Hello, good evening. Woo! It is Monday night. Oh, no, it's not Monday night. I'm just tricking you. It's Sunday night. I know you're so used to seeing me on Monday. I'm so used to seeing me on Monday. Well, actually, I'm used to seeing me every day. But needless to say, today I'm coming to you as Tanya TB, the real realtor, and we are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about home selling. We're going to talk about home buying and renting too. So I am excited that you're joining. I want you to join. Let's see who will be joining us today. There's so much to cover, and I would love for you to make mention. And I look forward to seeing you. So tell me if you've joined in, who's here? Let's see. Got a few people chatting me. We're going straight in. Get out of that. Let's see who's here. Hello. We should be live. I hope I'm live. I think I'm live. Am I live? Oh boy. I'm not sure that I'm live. Let's see what's going on. It should be. I don't think I am. Okay. Let me then get out of this and start it another way. Let me end here. It shows that I'm on. Oh, okay, good. I was like, are people seeing me? Am I live? Hey, Jedediah. Hey, okay, good. Hi, Kim. I was nervous. I was like, maybe I ain't live. What in the world? All right, cool beans. Well, I'm glad that you guys are responding because I got a little nervous. I was going to shut it down. All right, so I'm gonna get started. Today we are talking about home selling, we're talking about home buying, and we're talking about renting. So as we go through this process, share. I believe the more people know or are thinking about it, or maybe you know people who are downsizing, they're looking to move, they don't know what to do with their home. I can talk about renting and selling, putting their home on the market for rent. But I want to avail myself to answer the questions that you may have and don't know who to ask or what to ask. There's so much information out there. But one of the things that I find is that it's important to avail yourself to somebody that you can, that's trustworthy. And that's going to give you the information that you need and or will find out for you. So today I'm going to start. One of the things I wanted to mention. So if you have questions, post your questions, put your questions in the chat so that I can be able to answer them. One of the things I want to start with home real quick with home sellers, because I don't have a lot of home sellers. I get more people who want and have questions about home purchasing. About home selling is that the process for someone who is selling their home is so much more smoother than somebody who is buying a home. There's many more steps to a person who's buying than selling. So let's say you are a person, you're thinking about downsizing, you're thinking about upstepping, you're thinking about moving, and you want to put your home on the market. Literally, it's about having a conversation. I think the biggest thing is how to price your home. Understanding what's in your home, understanding what work has been done to the home, understanding really what's going on in your community. Most CMAs, which is a comparative market analysis, compares what has sold in your community. And so therefore, from that, if there are several other homes in your community that have sold within a certain price bracket, it gives you an idea of what you should be marketing your home for. So that's just a quick little tip I want to share with you all. Usually the process is pretty simple. You identify your realtor. Well, that's the easy process because here I am, TB, the real realtor. But then on top of that, good question, Jedediah. I will come to that. On top of that, what then will happen is we will identify, as I mentioned, what's going on in your home. So we'll take a quick snapshot of things that needs to be known in your home, and then we will post it. I will get pictures taken. You know, well, I do. All realtors, some use their phones. I don't. I do professional pictures. So we get professional pictures taken of your home on the inside and the outside, and then I put it on what's called the MLS. The MLS is the multiple listing systems that mostly all agents use, so that it's out there. Why is that relevant? Because most people who are with an agent that are usually qualified buyers. What? Somebody don't want me to do this live. My light just blew out. What in the world? I'm just telling you. Today the word was good, and the message is about temperance and self-control. And I'm gonna work. Today has been that day to work on my self-control, people. Okay, so anyway, I'm back. And I'm in the light. So here's the thing. People who have agents often are qualified buyers already. And you want that as a listing, as you're selling your home. You want a qualified buyer versus somebody who's just looking around to look around because I like the way the house looks. Those are good too, but that's not going to help you get your home sold. Once they have identified that they're going to submit an offer to you. So instead of you making an offer on a home, we have the opportunity to look. Now, in this market, it is truly a seller's market right now. So people are getting above asking price on many of the homes. So you can have a townhome that technically may have been priced at $250,000 and may end up getting $280,000. Just depending on, again, CMA, what has sold in your community. So just something to be aware of. Something else I want to say, be careful when you think about, well, I put $20,000 into my home of fixing it up. Doesn't mean that you're going to sell your home for $20,000 more based off of what you put in it. However, it does help when you get ready to get your appraisal. A question that people ask me, if I'm selling my home, should I get my home appraised? It is really a preference, a choice. It's helpful. It gives an idea of what your home could sell for. The challenge is appraisers are hired by buyers, and therefore, if you had your home was appraised for $325,000 by your appraiser, you may get a buyer's appraiser that ends up appraising your home for $300,000. You can't say, well, nope, it appraised for $325,000, so that's it. It's not end all be all. So, it's just up to you as a consumer, as a seller who may feel comfortable, makes them feel more comfortable. But my job as the realtor is to really assess what's going on in the community and help us come up with a reasonable number for your home. Once it's on the market, you get your offer. That's all you need to do. Everything else falls on the buyers. So buyers, keep your ears open. We're getting ready to come to you. So that's it. The burden of work falls on the buyer and the buyer's agent. There isn't anything that you need to do. Once the inspection happens, they set up the inspection. The inspection happens. They make their request. We make a decision what we want to do. The appraisal happens. If it appraises, we're good to go. So really all you're doing is the biggest work that you're going to do is on the front end with me as your agent and getting the documents completed so we can get your home on the market. So if you are a person or know somebody who's either looking at getting a bigger size home or downsizing their home, or maybe even wanting to put their home on the market to rent, TB, the Real Realtor, also does property management. And I can talk about that and when I get to the rental side, but maybe you already are ready to you have a renter and you're thinking about, I'm tired of dealing with the tenant. I want somebody else to do it. You need somebody to do property management. I can help with that. So again, it may not be you. This may be useful information for you down the road, or you may know someone. Please share. Sharing is caring. I'm going to hit these 2 questions that has popped up on the live thus far. Hey, Ken. All right. So Jedediah said, what are these first-time home buyer programs really worth it? Good question. Some of them are. I think knowledge. I posted something today. I was talking to my mom yesterday, actually. And one of the things that I hear people say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. People are like, yeah, knowledge is power. Well, knowledge is only power if you use it, right? If you don't use the knowledge that you've been giving, if you do not make action on the knowledge, it is worthless. So I believe that it's always good to take the information, equip yourself with the information so you know what to do. I don't necessarily feel that someone has to go through a home buyer's process if you have a skilled agent like myself. if you have a knowledgeable agent, like myself, and if you have an invested agent, like myself. I do believe there are some home buying programs that offer money. You got to ask what the fine line questions are. What are they? What are the parameters for you to get that money? Sometimes they make you use their agents. Sometimes they make you use their lenders. It just depends. So do your research. Find out. Those are questions you can ask when you go to this home owners program. What is it going to help? Some lenders, keep this in mind, some lenders offer home owner grants or can tell you about first-time home buyer funding. So just be mindful. It's up to you. It's worth it. Like I said, knowledge is power. Just make sure you take that and use it. Kendra said, if it's multiple people interested in your home, how do you decide what contract to accept? Good question. So I've been in this situation quite a few times. One of the things, and I'll use one example. Well, let me answer the question first. I think it really boils down to, as a seller, what's going to yield you the most, not only the most money, but the most benefit. Now, let me give you an example. I had a situation where my client was selling their home. I'm going to give the hypothetical information to protect, but I'm just going to give it so that you understand. Let's say we put it on the market for $250,000. I had somebody that came and said, we're going to offer you $250,000. I had two offers that came in. One that came in that said, we're going to offer you $250,000, but we still want you, it's a first-time home buyer, so we want you to pay the first-time home buyer taxes. We also want a full home inspection. And so they was just asking for all these other things that they had rights to ask for. But by the time my seller would have had to put out all that extra money, it would have taken that $250,000 down. So really, was it beneficial for them? I'm sorry, and let me back up. They gave above asking price, but they also asked for seller's help in addition to all of those other things. Then I had a buyer that said, we will offer you asking price, no closing help, as is with inspection, which I'll explain later, and we will split the taxes. Well, in those two scenarios, option B was better because it was less money out of the seller's pocket. So really, it's about, for most sellers, it's what's going to keep the most money in my pocket versus what am I going to have to dish out. So you can have somebody that's going to give you above asking price, but then ask for a whole lot of closing help, and then you're really not that much more off than you were before. So it really depends on what your needs and what you're looking for. Hopefully that makes sense. Give me some thumbs up if that makes sense. Okay, good. All right, so now let me go a little bit into some information that I wanted to share with you guys in regards to buying, if I can find my info. Okay, cool. So I want to start with, why is it imperative or important or good reasons to buy? Why? Why are the good reasons? What are some of the good reasons? Do you guys know any? What are some of the good reasons why you think it's good to buy a home? If anybody want to kind of share, remember this is Q&A, so we're going to engage one with another. Talk to me, I'll talk to you. Tell me what it is that you've heard are some reasons to why somebody should consider purchasing a home, and then I'll give you some of the reasons that I have. Maybe some of our reasons are the same. And I'll start just in case you're still thinking about them. So number one good reason is tax benefits. Ultimately, the U.S. tax code lets you deduct the interest that you pay on your mortgage, your property taxes, and some of the costs involved in the home buying process. So that's really good. You want that. You want to be able to benefit and have tax benefits. Some people are in such a high tax bracket that they don't reap the benefit of it. However, when you own a home, you can use certain certain tax benefits, or being a homeowner gives you different tax benefits. So that's number one. Kim said mortgage is cheaper than rental. Sometimes it really is. Sometimes you are paying $2,300 in rent when your mortgage could be $1,800. That's money back in your pocket that's going towards so many other things. So yes, Kim, you are absolutely correct. Again, if you've just joined or had been joining, please share so that others may see that this is happening and join. All right, let me go back to my other reasons. 2, appreciation. Historically, real estate has had a long-term stable growth. There's so many, variables to how a home appreciates. But just know over the course of a period of time, your home, believe it or not, appreciates. Unlike a car, you get the car, it's beautiful, brand new, you drive it off the lot, it depreciates. Well, homes appreciate, which is good because it plays into the next thing I want to mention, equity. Money paid for rent is money that you will never see again. Whereas with a mortgage, payments let you build equity, ownership, interest in your home. Predictability. Unlike rent, your fixed rate mortgage is what it is. You get a 30-year mortgage, for the next 29, 28 years, for the most part, depending on what type of loan you get, you already know what is going to be. Whereas renting, they go up every year. And let me tell you something. Honestly, I rent properties, and I've been a renter. It's ridiculous on these streets. I'm just saying, let's get this home buying process done. Freedom, knowing that it's yours. You can do what you want to do with your home, unless you're in things like a condo or you live somewhere that has a home association. You got to keep in mind there are some things that you won't be able to do without the approval. But overall, on the inside of your home, it's yours. You don't have to worry about it, okay? And then, of course, it offers stability. So I want to now jump and talk about anything else, any other reasons that I didn't mention that you may have heard of or thought about that sticks out for you before I go into financial readiness. I want to talk about financial readiness. So ultimately, a lot of times I hear people say, I don't know what to do, or people think that they do know what to do. Now I got a few things I got to take care of before I'm ready. And the challenge is sometimes people really don't know what it is that they do need to work on or what they don't need to work on. As you know, most credit scores are anywhere between 200 and 850, right? Most lenders are looking for someone who has at least a 620 and above. Now it varies depending on your lender, but for the credit score, ideally they're looking at 620 and higher. All right. If it's with a mate, if it's you and a mate, they look at both parties, not just the one, unless one person is the only person that's doing the loan. So that, number one, is a caveat. You want to be mindful of that. However, that is not the only piece. People think, oh, well, my credit score is good, so I'm ready to roll. No, what a lender is looking for is not only your credit score, but also your payment history. For the last year, think about what your credit history has looked like. Have you paid things on time? Do you have bankruptcy? Do you have liens? Do you have collection activity? Those are things that they are going to look for over the last year to 2 years. So keep that in mind. It doesn't mean you cannot get a loan. It just means that's what they're going to use to equate whether you are credit worthy. Any thoughts or questions about that? Just that right now. So they're looking at your credit score. They're looking at your credit worthiness. Your payment history. The next thing that they are looking at is how much you owe and where. Basically, you'll hear people say debt to income ratio. Do you owe way more, over 80% more than what you bring in? That is going to be key. I have people say, well, my credit is right. My payment history is right, but they have so many outstanding debts that is beyond what they are able to pay back. A lender is going to look at that and say, oh, no, their debt to income ratio is high. That's what they're referring to when they talk about that. Another thing is how long you've had credit history. So if you're somebody who's just building credit history, it may be a bit of a challenge, but not really. That's like the lowest on the totem pole. How much new credit you have and the types of credit that you do have. Let me say this. I have people that have said, well, I'm starting the process. I got my loan approval by this bank, but I really want to find out if I can get a different interest rate somewhere else. If I do another loan, is it a hard inquiry? What I want to tell you is it is an inquiry, but not necessarily a hard one because you're looking for a home. It is the same trade line. Okay. So from a house to a home loan to another home loan, they're going to they'll see that, oh, this is a person who's looking to buy a home. But if you do a home loan, a car loan, credit card loan, those are all different type of trades, and they pull differently to find out what they want to find out to qualify you. So just keep that in mind. If you decide to move forward with a lender, but you're like, I don't really know. I think I probably can get more, this, that, and the third, whatever. And that's assuming you haven't come to me first before you've done anything. So let me say this, before you do anything, hit a sister up because I can give you some guidance in addition to what you're getting this. Sometimes people just jump and don't really know. So any questions, thoughts, and remember, just post them so I can answer them along the way. Now, so what do I do? How do I improve my credit? Now, let me just tell you this little caveat right quick. I have built a group of people that I work with. I'm very particular about who I work with because I am very animate about the clients that I work with. I'm very passionate and I'm very invested in my clients as if they were my blood brothers and sisters. I've been taken advantage of. I know what it's like to be taken advantage of, and I'm a strong advocate to make sure that does not happen. And so with that being said, I have created a group of people that I work with. So I do work with lenders. I do work with inspection companies. I do work with a credit repair person. And so I don't have a lot, but I do have enough because I trust that they're going to take care of you the way I would take care of you. And so with that being said, excuse me. Sorry, I got a cat and he's plucking at my furniture and I'm gonna throw something at him. Okay, I missed. Anyway, so I make sure that I have what I need to provide you with what you need. Now, with that being said, what are some of the things that you can do to work on your credit? First, start with me. If you are somebody that says, I got a couple things on my credit, I got to take care of them, please talk with me. Let me tell you something. Let me be transparent. Here's a transparent moment. Y'all ready? Here's a transparent moment. I am somebody who have not always had good credit, and I still think my credit is decent. But I was a person who came from being in the fives. Okay. I know what that's like. So no judgment. When I say come to me, I promise you there's no judgment. Been there, done that. I'm just here, a lowly person that's been there and can help somebody take 2 or 3 extra steps above faster than what I did. But the reason why I'm saying start with me is because one of the things people don't realize is some things that's on your credit, when you go to address it, it may have been dormant and you didn't have to worry about it. But the minute you make a phone call and the minute you reach out, it almost starts it all over as if it's active. And so I encourage you, if you're somebody who's working on your credit, let's have a conversation about some of the things that are there, what your plans are, and what resources is going to be beneficial to you. Okay. So any questions, any thoughts, anybody's have had any experiences that they have further questions? Maybe somebody said something to them they didn't understand or didn't realize. Please type it in and I'll respond. So if you're looking at your credit, check your credit report. Please do not use Credit Karma. It is not reliable. I'll say it again. It is not reliable. If you have a bank, excuse me, some banks offer it. Like I know, I think Navy Federal is connected with Capital One or whatever, or Capital One has their own. Use something that's reliable, annual, free. Here's one. Free annual credit report.com. Get it, use it. It's $1. Okay. You will not change your credit score. It's not a hard inquiry because you're pulling your own information. Pull it. But it's good to know what's there. If you know of certain things, if you have high credit card bills, pull them, pay them down as much as you can. I don't care. If you can take care of the entire balance, good. But whatever you do, don't pay less than the minimum balance, because that will affect you down the road. Don't charge your cards to the max. If you can hold, have less than half, that's beneficial. Just small things will make a change in your credit. So that is something that is so key to this home buying process. Oh, the other piece that I forgot to mention is money. What kind of money do you have? What do you have available? I'm going to go through the process to tell you, I'm going to go through the process to help you see what it looks like, but you're going to need money, right? So many people think, well, I'm going to get, I want a loan, or I want a grant to get, what's that called? Down payment. And is it worth it? Hey, mommy, is it worth it to do that? Well, it is, but you still need money. I always tell people, if you're looking to purchase a home, you want to have as close to $10,000 to $20,000 for this process. Again, I'm going to go through the process, and I'm kind of going to give you some numbers that will help you. So if you don't have a pen and paper, you might want to get one so that you can take some of this information down. Now, but you want to have some funds. If for those that have what is that called? For those that have 401k, you can borrow against your 401k. Some people didn't know that. You can borrow against your 401k. It's so long as you're working and you have some funds, you can borrow against it, and it's acceptable. All right. So let me continue on to where I want to go next with you guys. So financial readiness. Now, the next thing that you want to be mindful of is lenders. There are 3 ways. I tell people there are 3 ways. Yes, 401k. You can borrow against your 401k. There are 3 ways that you can get a loan. Well, 3 main ways that you can get a loan. Number 1, you can go to the bank that you have been banking with. Ideally, using your own bank is beneficial because you have established a rapport with that bank. Now, depending on the bank, some banks are just that. They're banks, they offer bank loans, but may not have the best interest rates, right? Some banks are not really known for interest rates. But it's your bank and you've been banking with them, and that's one way to go. Secondly, you could do a credit union. A credit union is often going to give you really good interest rates. And then the third way is a mortgage lender. And a mortgage lender is responsible for finding what loans are best for you based off of your background, your history, and everything we talked about in the beginning, right? And so of the 3, now this is TB the Realtor's personal preference. Well, no, actually, this is Tanya's personal preference. I like lenders. I like working with lenders. And the reason being is that I believe they look at the person. So they may pull your credit and say, you know what, Kim, I've noticed there's these things on here. I want you to take care of this, or don't call them, or do this or do that, so that we can get you to a place of being approved. Or they may say, nope, you're good to go. Whereas a bank or a bank or a credit union will look at you as just that number. You, Kendra, is number KB123. Well, approved, not approved. They're not going to come back to you and kind of help you get into a status of being pre-approved. So that's Tanya's personal preference, but you can go any way that you choose. As an agent, I can work with any lender. It doesn't matter. Like we are not necessarily connected at the hip one to another. Some lenders will give you some suggestions, but you won't need them. Why? Because you got me. Little hint. Okay. Little hinty hint. All right. So with that being said, let's now go into the process. And I'm going to break this down as easy as, but this is going to be the easiest home buying process class that you'll ever get ever, because it's really not that deep. People try and make it that deep. It's not that deep, I promise you. All right. So number one, first things first, you and I are going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about where you are. We're going to talk about your goals. We're going to talk about your needs. And then we're going to talk about which way you think is the best way to get your pre-approval. If you decide to use my lender, I will connect you to my lender. Or if you have another lender or however you choose to do it, you're going to get pre-approved. Once you've gotten pre-approved, you and I will then work together as me as your advocate to get you to the end product, me and a team of people. So it's not just me, it's a team of people. And I'll talk about that team as we go along. So you have yesterday pre-applied and today got your pre-approval. Woo! Congratulations. Let's get the ball started. So now you and I, the very first thing that we're going to do is establish an agreement, and I will walk you through that process. The biggest thing with an agreement people are always concerned about is how do I get out of it and how do you get paid? And those are some of the things that you and I will talk about as we have that very next meeting after your pre-approval. Once we have established the agreement, we will start to do the very easiest thing, which is go look for homes. I will tell you, when you are looking for homes, the most challenging process of finding, well, let me say, had two impeding thoughts. Number one, the longest process of the home buying process is you finding a home. But in addition to that, what makes that more challenging is the more detailed and specific you are, the harder it is to find what you're looking for. I will tell you, in Maryland, it is a challenge because what you're looking for is not always available. So there, you have to identify what your needs and expectations are versus what, knowing what your needs are and what your wants are. With that being said, I would then say we would find what you're looking for. Once we find it, the work begins. So let's say this home, we find you a home, the home is $300,000. One of the things I'll need to know is, do you need closing help? That's going to make a difference. Do you need, are we doing full inspection? And we'll talk a lot more about those things as we get further into this process. But we identify your home. Once an offer has been made on that home and they've accepted the offer, what's going to happen next is we will all sign, well, really, you all will sign the documentation that everybody's in agreement that you're going to buy this house for $300,000 with whatever the other stipulations are. Okay. Now that agreement is in place, here is the first time you're going to have to put out any financial funds. Okay. The first time that you're going to put out any financial funds is called your EMD, for earnest money deposit. That's the first time you're going to put out money. That money is usually 1% of the sale price. So if it's a $300,000 home, I'm going to say, okay, Chanel, I want you to write out a check, or actually now everything is electronic. Make your earnest money deposit of $3,000, which usually either your broker, the broker, or the way I do it is I have the title company hold that $3,000. So you're going to see it on the end. You're not just giving it away. It's not just going somewhere. It's going towards that purchase. So instead of $300,000, you now are at $297,000 is what you owe. Okay. So they will hold that money. In addition to that, the very second thing that's going to happen is your inspection. So I usually get that inspection done the sooner the better. Now, one of the things I forgot to mention is the process, believe it or not, literally can take anywhere from 30 to 45 days. And my mortgage person can get you done in 21 days. So I'm just saying, okay. But it's pending everything else. You have everything else in place that you need to have in place. So moving forward, you've given your title, your earnest money deposit. We've had the inspection. Inspections usually run anywhere between $300 and $600. It really depends on the size of the home and the inspector that you get. Most inspectors will inspect from the rooter to the tutor, the top, the roof, the basement, your yard, structure, all of that. And they will do a complete report. Now, with the people, I can only speak for who I work with. I mean, although I've worked with other people, but my inspection company that I work with, they are very thorough and they're very quick. So they will complete it and you will get your report literally within 24 hours or less. We will review the report. We will decide if there's any challenges. We will present those challenges if need be. We will come to an agreement what needs to happen next. If everybody is in agreement, great. If there is an issue, then we need to go back to Tanya needs to go back to the table to renegotiate what we was talking about from the beginning. Now, once we've come to an agreement, that agreement now moves forward to the next step. Next step is a home appraisal. That is now the third time that you're going to put out some financial funds. Not to me, I mean, just period, out of pocket, your out of pocket funds. An appraisal usually is anywhere from $700 to $1,000, just give or take. Again, it depends on where you are, depends on the location, the house, the size of the house, so many different factors. But your mortgage or your lender is going to let you know it's time for us to do the appraisal. The purpose for the appraisal is to make sure that that home that you're paying $300,000 for is $300,000 worthy. If that appraiser comes back and says, no, this house appraised for $295,000, your lender is only going to give you $295,000. Okay? They are not going to pay $300,000 for something that is not appraised for $295,000. Now, with that being said, some people will say, well, I'll pay the difference. I will just foot the $5,000 and then that's fine. You move forward, no big deal. If you do not or cannot make up the difference, what usually happens is, again, a third negotiation. And hopefully the seller is willing to just accept the fact that they have a person that's willing to buy. This is the amount of difference and move forward. If it appraises for more, people ask me this. So if it appraises for higher, do I get that money? No, you don't. It just means, yeah, your house appraised for more. How sweet it would be, right? Something else I meant to mention, now that I mentioned this, about the lending process. If you've been approved for $300,000 and you buy a home for $250,000, you do not get that $50,000. Your lender is just saying this is what you're eligible for. And depending on what your needs are is what they will give you so that you can buy your home. All right. So just keep that in mind. Fast forward after the appraisal. That's it. We're waiting for your loan to be done. You're going to sign some papers. You're going to work real close with your lender to provide them what they need. And then on day 30 or day 45 or somewhere in between there, we're going to settlement for you to sign papers for your keys. Yay! It's keys day. It is literally that simple. People think it's much more complex than it is. Yes, there are pieces. There are pieces to that could make you think, I mean, that can make it complex, but it is not always it's not challenging as much as people would perceive it to be. So, thoughts, questions, anything that you were thinking about, you wanted to know that you didn't know, maybe something you heard, something someone shared, any anxiety that you have. I have people that are out of state and they'll call me and they'll say, hey, do you do this state? Not yet, but I have built up such a connection. If you are in another state or looking to move to another state, let me know because I can help get you connected to an agent in that state. So just kind of want to put that out there. For my renters, if you are renting or you're looking to rent, if you're looking to rent, you need to move and you're looking to rent. I do have colleagues that work with renters. Yes, mommy, I will. That work with renters. 2022, I'm not going to be doing as many rentals as I did in 2021 because I am working on some other areas. So, of course, I am still doing buying and selling, and I will partner you and get you connected for those that are in need of renters. I do have some renters that say, what about Section 8? Something that you need to know, we can, as agents, we are bound, legally, we're bound, not and morally, we do not assess a client based off of where their funds come from. Section 8 is just another means of how your funds come. So a landlord cannot say this is a Section 8 home, because it sets up an area for discrimination. However, if you are receiving Section 8, you still need to meet the criteria. You still need to meet the criteria. What is the criteria? Most landlords are looking for someone who is making 3 times the amount of their monthly rent. So if the rent is $1,000, your income should be that you are making at least $3,000 a month or more. So that's one way. That's that 3 times is the equation. To my buyers, your lender is going to look for what I call the 3 doubles, the 3 doubles. Double number 1 is you need 2 pay stub, two of your most recent pay stubs. You need 2 months of your bank account. They want to see 2 months of your bank account and your last 2 years of taxes. So those are the 2 things they want to see. 2 most recent pay stubs, and if you're not working and you have Social Security or whatever your income is, they want to see 2 months. I mean, the last 2. They want to see the last 2 months of your bank account, and they want to see the last 2 years of your taxes. All right. Benefits. I did mention benefits, first time buyers benefits. Usually your lender is the one that's going to kind of tell you what's out there, what's available. I will tell you, if you're in the state of Maryland, Baltimore City has a lot of grants for people to purchase in Baltimore City. But one of the things that I've learned also is that Baltimore City has high taxes. So, it's kind of a catch-22. As a first time, another benefit for a first time home buyer. Oh man, I done threw my water. My cat is getting on my nerves. As a first time home buyer, when you purchase your home, there is something that's called tax and recordation. And usually for a first time home buyer, they can request that the seller pays for that. I've seen it as much as $3,000. Or more or less, depending on where the home is. And so, that's a benefit that you may not have to pay. But in this market, because it's so hard to make sure that you get a home and not be in a fight, the challenge is you want to make yourself as much marketable as possible. But that is a benefit, not having to pay taxes and recordation, or make that as a request as part of your offer. But good question. Any other questions? Any other home buying or home selling? Maybe you have a house and you ready to get rid of it, or know somebody that is, and what that process looks like. Please let me know. Shoot me a little, if you can post that, that'll be great. Again, this was just an opportunity for you to get a little information. In the month of January, I will be doing Worship and Wellness, as many of you know, at 6:30. And the focus is virtual vision boards. So we will be talking about quite a few of these topics. And one of the topics is, again, finances, home buying, and I want you to join. I think that's the 2nd week of January. Tomorrow we will be talking about fitness and health. So please join me tomorrow at 6:30, same station, different time. All right. If there be no other questions, I hope this has been helpful. Ultimately, reach out to me. Again, knowledge is power, but only if you use it. So let us make this 2022 year of purchasing your year with somebody who is quite capable of walking you through this process. All right. God bless and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. everyone. You're welcome.